Hi, dear friends. Welcome back to Akshadari. I'm Devraj. So I hope you guys are learning great and improving your English communication in the previous videos which I have updated in the last past days. And I hope you guys are following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. So let's start the today newspaper reading. Before going to start the today newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment, and please share with your friends so that I can update very informative videos in the upcoming days, so that may be useful for somebody who are very in need information. So let's start the newspaper reading. Today newspaper reading the Hindu, which is very important for the competitive exams especially, and also for the English communication, and also you can enhance or improve your English communication in English in the 30 days if you follow the tips which I have again given in previous video. So let's start the newspaper reading. Yes, let's start reading the today newspaper reading. The Hindu. Let's see what's in the front page of the newspaper. Will contest telespool under MUA banner. 415 million people climb out of poverty in India. Ukraine can join when all conditions are met. Tracking change in the lives of women. Gender dividend needs to be tapped. Shefali Deepthi bowl India to series win. Center's view on Kashmir situation has no bearing on Article 370 case, says the perspective of the Union government has no bearing on the issue raised in the petitions and shall not hence be relied upon for that purpose. This case concerns a pure constitutional change. SC asks CD chief to quit but upholds amendments. Bench says back-to-back service extensions given to Mishra in 2021 and 2022 were invalid and illegal. It however gave him time till July 31 to leave office to ensure a smooth transition. Extension can be granted by the government only if the committees which are constituted for recommending their appointment recommend their extension in public interest and also record the reason in writing. Government considering hiking milk price. COMD private firm killed. Trinamool Congress poised to sweep Panchayat polls on the edge of a precipitate. Kerala revises its plan for semi-high speed rail line. GST Council to impose 28% tax on online gaming firms. PU assessment pattern tweaked. Weightage of 20 marks in final exam for internal assessment for subjects with no practicals from this academic year. SC stays arrest of lawyer on fact finding vision. School textbooks will be revised completely for next academic year. CEO and MD of private firm hacked to death. The police suspect that they were killed by a former employee over business rivalry. Four special teams have been formed to track down the accused involved in the double murder. 15 kg of tomatoes sold at a record 2,200 in Kolar APMC. PU assessment pattern tweaked. Consumers confused by discrepancies in online and physical BESCOM bills. Many of them are also questioning the credits and adjustment category, which has come up in their electricity bills. Gang busted, abducts and murders youth over old rivalry. 19-year-old delivery executive was abducted from a Chandra layout and murdered by a gang of four near Konasandra Lake in Kengiri over a old rivalry on Monday. The deceased has been identified as Tahir. According to the police, Tahir used to fight with his friend turned phone Nyamat, and the duo were not in good terms since a year. Tahir used to tell his other friends that he would beat up on Nyamat. Humiliated by this, Nyamat allegedly roped in his friends and decided to eliminate Tahir. As per the plan, one of the accused, Irfan, called Tahir on Monday evening to the metro station in Chandra Layout on the pretext of meeting him. As soon as he reached the place, the accused posted Tahir into an auto rickshaw and took him to Konanasandra Lake, where he was tortured and stabbed to death. The accused dumped his body and fled the scene. When Tahir did not return home, his father Syed Mahbub got to know that he went into an auto rickshaw with his friends. Mahbuba tried to reach the accused, but their phones were not reachable. Sensing something amiss, he filed a complaint. The police traced the body near the lake. The other accused have been identified as Nadeem and Samir. Shakti, 16.73 crore women took free bus ride in a month. My college research center inaugurated. Lack of signboards, poor patrolling, and rash driving causing fatal accidents on expressway. Home Department to discuss the issues with National Highways Authority of India and ensure intensified regular patrolling on this stretch. Disruption in water supply. Builders must display approved building plan at construction sites in Mahadevpura BBMP. Police opened fire at habitual offender. The accused is said to have been involved in seven armed robberies and was on the run. States debate burden more than doubled in 4 years, finds CAG report. Government mulling over milk price hike. Minister 7 arrested in fake compensation claimants case. Shivamogga Airport cost to be reviewed. Home Minister turns down demand for CBI probe into Jain monks murder. Rape case. HC refuses to interfere with charge sheet filed against lawyer. BJP Congress exchange bobs over business of transpose. Farmers can seek permission to keep guns at home during falls. List steps taken to recover land from MLA Kerala HC. HC passed to directive on a contempt of court plea against state government. The petitioners had has alleged that authorities were dragging proceedings in case because of the legislature's influence. SpiceJet flight to Tirupati delayed by technical snag. Bodies of men who went missing after accident found. RT officials search places linked to Tamil Nadu minister. Railways to probe a glitch that delayed Vande Bharat train. Revant challenged the BRS to a debate on free power supply for farmers. ISC scientists developed composite semiconductor for next generation foldable phones, wearable devices. 7 killed, 18 injured as bus carrying marriage party plunges into canal in AP. Demographic transition and a change in women's lives. Let's read this editorial page. Greenwashing. Demographic transition and change in women's lives. The passage of World Population Day is also a time to look at how India's demographic journey has changed the lives of its citizens, particularly its women. India's population grew from about 340 million at Independence Day to 1.4 billion. This growth was fueled by a gift of life that receding starvation, improved public health, and medical miracles brought to India. In 1941, male life expectancy was about 56 years. Only 50% of boys survived to age 28. Today, life expectancy for women is 69 years, and nearly 50% live to see the ripe old age of 75. This rapid decline in mortality took parents to by surprise who no longer needed to have four children to ensure that at least two would survive, causing population growth until fertility decline caught up with the mortality decline, and the total fertility rate fell from 5.7 in 1950 to 2.1 in 2019. These statistics mask the tectonic shift in the lives of people as they learn to adjust to a longer lifespan and fewer children. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the lives of Indian women. Women's childhood, adulthood, and old age have been transformed over the course of demographic transition, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. Change for Indian women. As families began having fewer children, ensuring at least one son became more difficult. With four children, that change for not having a son was barely 6%, but with two children, it grew to 25%. Social norms and local kinship patterns combined with lack of financial security reinforce a preference person. So the India Human Development Survey found that 85% of women respondents expected to rely on their sons for old age support, while only 11% expected support from their daughters. Hence, parents who wanted to ensure that they have at least one son among their one or two child family resorted to sex selective abortion. In some cases, the neglect of sick daughters, consequently, the number of girls per 100 boys, ages under 5, dropped from 96 6 to 91 between 1950 and 2019. With a fertility decline, active mothering occupies a small proportion of women's lives, creating space for education and employment. Good data on this only goes back to 30 years, but my research with Sojin Yu, based on the National Family Health Survey, finds that the number of years women spend caring for children under 5 declined from 14 years in 1992 to 93 to 8 in 2018 to 20. The years spent caring for children ages 6 to 15 dropped from 20 to 14 years. These changes are only partly accompanied by changes in the life course of women. While women's educational attainment increased with over 70% of girls enrolling in secondary education, early marriage and childbearing remain the predominant forces defining women's lives. As a recent article by Park Hathi Brozard and Spears documents the average age at first birth has hardly budged about 8 to 20 for women born in the 1940s and still remains well below 20 years for those born in the 1980s. Early motherhood perhaps explains why lower fertility does not translate into higher labor force participation for women. Women need to establish secure connections to the labor market and gain work experience if they are to get skilled jobs. By the time peak childcare demands end, they have missed the window for occupations that require specific skills. Only an unskilled work is open to them. Demographic shifts also affect women's lives at older ages. With rising life expectancy, the proportion of the female population aged 65 and above increased from 5% to 11% between 1950 and 2022 and is projected to reach 21% by 2050. While the proportion of older men will also increase, aging for women has unique implications. Women generally marry men who are older and are more likely to outlive their husbands. The 2011 census shows that while only 18% of men and above age 65 are widowed, about 50% women are widowed. For widowed women, the lack of access to savings and the property results in dependence on children, mainly sons, bringing the vicious cycle of son preferences to full circle. Harnessing gender dividend. Changing patriarchal norms may take a long time. Meanwhile, enhancing women's access to employment and assets will reduce their reliance on sons and could break the vicious cycle of gendered disadvantage, stretching from childhood to old age. However, unlike East Asian nations where demographic transformation has led to delayed and often forgone marriage and childbearing. Early marriage and childbearing remain central to Indian women's lives. Hence, any efforts at improving women's labor force participation must be accompanied by access to safe and affordable childcare. A World Bank evaluation based on a randomized controlled trial in Madhya Pradesh found that the expansion of Anganwadis to include a creche led to an increase in the work participation of more mothers. Arguably, the most striking example of the importance of childcare is documented in a study based in urban China by Du and Dong. It found that as state support for childcare declined, employment rates for mothers fell from 88% to 66%. What are the practical strategies for enhancing childcare access? One relatively low hanging fruit would be to make staffing creche an acceptable form of work under the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. At present, NREGS is being used to build physical infrastructure, but there is no reason it cannot be used to develop social infrastructure where NREGS worker can help stop crutches. The burgeoning self-help group movement can be harnessed to set up neighborhood child care centers in urban and rural areas. So planning the much hoped for demographic dividend cannot be done without fully harnessing the gender dividend. Improving access to childcare is an important component of achieving this. This is about the man. So let's go to the next. Greenwashing changes to conservation laws must be backed by scientific evidence. Citizen action for cleaner politics. Let's read this. What is a comprehensive look at the background of all the 4,001 sitting members of the legislative assemblies across India? Tell us about the state of Indian politics. Can India's aspirations to be a globally respected economic and cultural power be fulfilled with the kind of politics it has? All candidates now follow stipulations following a Supreme Court of India judgment filing self was one affidavit so which record the details of criminal cases they have. If any, of the 4,001 sitting MLAs, 1,717 777 of them are 47.4% have a criminal case. The current Lok Sabha also has 43% members of parliament with criminal cases. In 2004, the percentage was around 22% and has now doubled. Many people feel that the cases are either trivial ones or politically motivated. The point that these are not frivolous first information reports needs to be emphasized. There are cases registered after a due process of investigation, filing of charge sheets, and preliminary hearing of the case and being formally charged in a court of law. Even if we say that the cases are foisted by rival political parties, it shows that political parties are selectively using the law and the system needs to change. The law and order system was put in place by political parties and they need to change it. However, facts show that most cases were filed when the party to which the MLA or MPs belong to was in power. So the cases are not all politically motivated. The data is an eye opener. If we dig deeper and look at serious criminal cases which on conviction would lead to a jail sentence for 5 years or more, there are 1136 or 28% of such MLAs today. There are 47 MLAs with murder cases, 181 with attempt to murder cases, another 114 with cases related to criminal crimes against women, and 14 with rape cases. States or union territories with the highest number of serious criminal cases are Delhi 53%, Bihar 59%, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and Telangana 39% each, and Uttar Pradesh 38%. No political party is free of these malaise. If one focuses only on those parties with at least 40 such MLAs, the Bharatiya Janata Party leads with 479 MLAs with criminal cases and 337 with serious criminal cases. The next largest party, the Indian National Congress, has 334 MLAs with criminal cases and 194 with serious criminal cases. The other parties, including the Dravid, Munnetra, Kajagam, Trinamool Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, YSR Congress, Samajwadi Party, but Rashtra Samiti, formerly the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, Rashtriya Janata Dal, Communist Party of India, Marxist and Biju Janata Dal have a lower number of such MLAs, but with a higher percentage of offences, between 42% to 76% of for criminal cases, and 32% to 43% for serious criminal cases. The other parties such as the National Congress Party, Shiv Sena, Janata Dal, United or JDUs, Uttarakhand Mukti Morcha and All India Anna Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam have far fewer seats, and so the number of their MLAs with criminal cases is also much lower. In the 2019 Lok Sabha, the BJP had 116 MPs with a criminal record. The INC 29, DMK 10, Trinamool Congress 9, and the JDU 13. When it came to serious criminal cases, the BJP has 87 MPs, INC 19, DMK 6, Trinamool Congress 4, and JDU 8. Even Union Minister are tainted. In the case of their first swearing in during 2019, there was 22 ministers out of 56 with criminal cases, and a total of 61 cases against these 22 ministers, all from the ruling party. The chances of those with a criminal record winning was over 15%. In comparison, it was 4.7% for those with a clean record. This shows that people with a criminal record are more likely to get elected. No other country has so many people with known criminal records in its parliament or to as state assemblies. Net worth and election spend. Gender representation is low with only 9% of elected women MLAs. Most MLAs are college graduates or more. The average assets of MLAs was 13.69 crore. Wow. And of those with a criminal cases at least at 16.36 crore. Winning depends on the wealth of a candidate, with 30% of those with assets of 5 crore or more being elected. while only 8% of those with assets of 2 crore or less were elected. In contrast, 75% of Indian citizens reported wealth of 8 lakh or less, and a total of 98% reported wealth of 80 lakh or less. The spend on elections now is at an all-time high. Clothes, mobiles, cooking equipment, liquor, and cash are distributed to entice voters, thus violating the law. Estimates show that the expenditure in the Lok Sabha elections is more than that in the United States presidential elections. It is well known that a candidate spend crores of rupees and violate the spending limit of 40 lakh for MLAs and 70 lakh for MPs, enhanced to part 90 lakh in 2022, which is the limit the Election Commission of India has set in the consultation with political parties. Public money is spent to promise freebies such as free water, electricity, travel, and food, to name a few. The number of MLAs and MPs with criminal records has risen only because their party leaders continue to distribute more tickets to such candidates. In the so called advanced countries, there is no such system of distributing tickets. Candidates are selected either by a first round primary, as in the US, or by a more open and democratic process, as in many European countries. In summary, India has a system where there are a very significant number of elected representatives with a serious criminal record. Such people are more likely to win than others. Electoral laws are flouted while spending money. So far, the ECA has taken very little action on this. Political leaders continue to distribute tickets to such people. Winning is the means by which to recover the money spent and accumulate it for the next election. Media management, especially so through social media, passes off as good governance. The catalyst. We will see more of this in the next Lok Sabha election in 2024. Every party fears that it will lose if it undertakes reforms. Media management can impact public perception for some time. Eventually, more and more Indians will get to know the truth. Perhaps that is the moment when change will happen. That is when the potential of the country will be realized. Citizen action can speed up this process. Trilochan says Sastri. Let's go to the next page. The unseemly politics of the Uniform Civil Code. Back to square one, the Congress is facing perhaps its worst political crisis in Kerala in recent times. Bangalore Mysore regions way ahead of Kalaburgi and Belagavi. While Karnataka's GDP has grown, it has not translated into better outcomes in education and health. SC asks ED chief to quit, but backs amendments. Tribe members should be part of supervisory teams, so SC to Manipur. Not a single person from the Jokuki tribes is part of the 7 teams of the ministers and MLAs formed to oversee work in real relief camps. Petitioner 10 from Myanmar led into Manipur medical emergency. Center told to clarify stand on places of worship act by October 31. SC6 Center EC response on delimitation in Arunachal Pradesh. Six opposition members on House panel raised alarm over past bill exemption. Armored infiltrators body recovered in Rajouri. Congress says it will contest LS poll under MUA banner in Maharashtra. 4 hour long electoral strategy meeting came barely a week after the split in the NCP. An alliance partner party says it has done groundwork in all the 48 Lok Sabha constituencies and its partners will gain strength from its drive. When will center stop protecting Bridge Bhushan? Asks in Congress. Shah holds productive talks with the US and why? Full bonds cheap source of donations for parties report. RLD chief giant to attend opposition meeting in Bangalore on July 17. Murmu lays stress on constitutional ideal meet. One more cheetah from Africa dies in Kuno Park. Rainfall finds to man-made disaster in Himachal Pradesh. Anthropogenic factors such as deforestation and sustainable construction have intensified damage caused by rain-related events even as unprecedented downpour has caught the state of God. Chandrayaan ISRO gears up with launch rehearsal. 415 million Indians came out of multi-dimensional poverty in 15 years, says UNDP study. Four more Vande Bharat routes to be launched this month and amid low demand. Scientists exploited two women with promise of jobs in DRDO. Pradeep Kurulka, a senior scientist of the Defense Research and Development Organization, who was arrested in May by the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad for passing confidential information to a Pakistani agent, had also sexually exploited two women by promising them jobs in the DRDO, said that the charge sheet filed by the ATS. The charge sheet also says that the Pakistani agent tried to obtain classified and sensitive information regarding the BrahMos launcher, drone, UCV, Agni missile launcher, and military bridging system, among other things, from the Mr. Kurulkar. Finance Ministry as employee arrested on espionage charge. Thailand caretaker PM Prayut says he is retiring from politics. Twitter better for freedom of speech, says Afghanistan Taliban. Azerbaijan closes vital road link to breakaway region of Karabakh. Six dead as a Nepali helicopter with Mexican tourist crashes. No timetable set for Ukraine membership, says NATO chief. First French long-range missiles reach Ukraine. India seeks transformation ties with Sri Lanka, Quatra. Israeli judicial reform crosses first stage. Saudi deposits 2 billion in Pak Central Bank. SC asks SEBI why was law altered to jettison arm-bearing capacity in FEI ownership. SG Mehta sets a SEBI probe going on at full speed. Petitioner's advocate says the SEBI change of FEI law in 2018 is absolutely fatal to its investigation. Foxconn says it will apply for PLI scheme after Vedanta split. Kinetic Engineering gets node from a board to raise 54 crore. Gaming industry reacts with shock to GST and deposits. Chola to scale up a business of three new loan segments. Global COVID-19 spending may touch 500 billion by 2027. Schedule HAM to be mandatory for MSME farms soon. RBI aims to boost e-rupee transactions to 10 lakh a day. Deepthi and Shapali help India pull off a East. Gardner become first to win ICC Player of the Month honor thrice. Shoriful swings it Bangladesh's way in third and final ODI. Ricciardo replaces D. Rice and Alpha Tauri. Balbao ends Spanish white hand cycling to D France stage. India embarks on a new WTC cycle against buoyant West Indies. Deepthi Shapali helps India pull off East. Wild card Svitolina approved for top seeded pool. Djokovic meets Sinner. Defense champion West meets a strong South in final. The latter will be looking to avenge its loss to the former, which had taken to the honors when the two sides clashed in the tournament summit clash last year. Viari's men have the advantage of playing in the semis at the same venue. Praveen wins bronze in award para athletics. Semayanya wins appeal over human rights violations. Deepa tops all around the competition in Asian Games selection trials. Hanuman is the mascot of Asian Athletic Championships. Focus on the past man as India's rebuilding process begins. With a triple triumph to boot, Chetri promises more. Still a long road for Semenya despite winning discrimination ruling. Chandrayaan 3 will aim for the moon but look behind to the future. ISRO is planning Chandrayaan 3 to demonstrate hand-to-hand capability for safe landing and roving on the lunar surface. A launch is scheduled for July 14 at 2:35 p.m. It will be on board the launch vehicle Mark 3. The vehicle will carry a lander attacker to a propulsion module. The latter will carry the former to a circular orbit around the moon. Scrying blocks the nose. Flyover Bengaluru's second silk board still to see the light of day. Open City to hold data jam on BBMP finances and processes. It was proposed in 2004 by the city's civic body. Though BBMP has announced several proposals to ease commuter travel at this junction, nothing has quite materialized. We will begin work on all metro lines simultaneously once it is approved. There are no priorities on which metro lines should be developed. Report finds rainwater harvesting structures missing along Bangaluru's metro lines. Bangalore-based Haju launches fintech service. Kannada cinema has entered the major league. Actor Gajraj Rao says he's fan of humble politician Nogroj. He has watched many times while Kantara has left him spellbound. MasterChef Australia Brendan Bank's signature menu represented Bengaluru, celebrating German classics. Text and context. The deposit created by Saudi Arabia to crisis stricken Pakistan. The new military aid pledged by Germany to war on Ukraine. Minimum pay for every player in the Women's World Cup. The tax levied on online gaming and casinos by GST Council. The people coming out of poverty in India in 15 years. North India's monsoon mayhem. Why was rainfall this very monsoon season above normal? Is global warming the only factor influencing the unpredictable monsoon? How did the warming of the Atlantic Ocean and the Himalayan affect the patchy distribution of rainfall this monsoon? What is the legal row between farmers and PepsiCo? What we lose when we work with giant artificial intelligence like ChatGPT? Large language models are unreasonably effective at providing intelligible responses. They are like at least atlases which see the whole world in snapshots. However, like an atlas, LLM lack dimensionality. They are devoid of local knowledge that comes only from experience. On July 12th, the United Nations recognizes Malala Day in honor of education activist Malala Yousafzai. He is a quick Jahandi activist. So this is the last page, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper reading, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe the channel and like and comment for more videos related to education, healthcare, and competitive exams, and also related to personal interview. So I hope you guys start reading the newspaper for 2 hours maximum. at least minimum 2 hours in a day, so minimum 40 minutes to 2 hours in a day to make you better in communication, in English communication. So I hope you guys follow the tips which I have given in the previous videos. See you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.